the child's parents, but please be on the lookout for that. Now, I'm sorry we don't have any more details right now, but now to begin. Good afternoon. My name is Oliver Larkin, and I'm the Regional Field Director for Bernie 2016 in Salt Lake City, in northern Utah. I'm here today because 9 months ago, I got tired of feeling powerless in the face of this country's future, of my future and that of my friends and family. I quit my job as a line cook, making $8 an hour, to drive to New Hampshire to volunteer. Little did I know then that the road I took would one day bring me here. Little did I know then how big so many of us could think. Friends, we have a future to believe in, and now is the time to realize it. The road we are on today, the road to Philadelphia and the Democratic nomination for President of the United States of America, this road goes through the neighborhoods of this city and so many more like it. Our volunteers walk this road every day. It goes up the sidewalks to the front door of an American voter's home, and we knock on those doors. We talk to the good folks here about Senator Sanders and our campaign's platform, and we bring people together. So please, look around you. I want every volunteer to raise their hand high in the air right now. Now, if you're not raising your hand right now, you ought to be, because these are the people standing up for us, the leaders from your community who are taking action and making their voices heard. Sign up with them. Join them at their homes and our field offices across Utah. Go talk to them, get to know them, and sign up to knock on doors with us and to turn out folks on caucus day. We have shifts in the morning, noon, and night, and we need your help. We stand together at the forefront of this campaign, this political revolution, and carry it forward by getting out the caucus tomorrow and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. The people of Utah want real change. And we know what it takes to make it happen. Sign Commit to Caucus cards. Show up to caucus this Tuesday, March 22nd from 6 to 8 p.m. And together, we will win. Thank you all.
Hey everybody, jamming out to the tunes here. Just waiting for the main event to start. That was the first, Jessie's back in. Hey Jessie, didn't know what happened to you. She dropped out of the hangout. Good to see her. We're in Salt Lake City. Looks like we got a nice crowd already working up, 100 people plus. Thank you for being here. And we'll switch over to comments, and this should be going here real soon. We really want to thank Fox 13, Salt Lake City. Here, they're showing a good sign here. Vets for Bernie, check that out. We'll just show the crowd. So Fox 13, Salt Lake City, thank you so much for supporting the political revolution. Really appreciate it. And yeah, let's have a good time. What's going on in the crowd? What do you guys have to say? 15,000, is that what we're saying? 15,000 people at this? Look at that. Look at the pan. Look at that nice pan work from Fox 13 Salt Lake City, who we really thank for letting us restream this. Oh my, that is quite a mess of people. Damn. Way to go, Utah. Way to go, Salt Lake City. I'll shut up now.
is Benjamin Todd Jealous. I'm the former national president and CEO of the NAACP. And I'm a national surrogate for Bernie. Bernie is touchdown and he's on the way. But as a man who, like Bernie, has spent his entire life in fighting for civil rights, I would be remiss if I did not say, before my formal remarks, that DA Sam Gill should release the video of the shooting of Abdi Muhammad. Bernie is absolutely committed as a leader, as a man who believes in civil rights, and as our next president of these United States, to ending these senseless shootings. It's my understanding that Abdi has come out of his coma, and I just want to ask all of us to keep him and his family in our thoughts and prayers. Now let's shift gears and talk about Donald Trump for a second. The number one objective of all Democrats, of all independents of good conscience, of all Americans who believe that this nation is truly supposed to be the home of the free and the land of the brave and the place where all of us can find our rights respected. Our number one objective this year must be to defeat Donald Trump at the polls. Yeah, I know. Let me be clear. I cut my teeth organizing in Harlem. We had a name for guys like Trump, but I ain't gonna go there. Donald Trump. Every single poll that they do, whenever they do the head-to-head, it's very clear. You know, Clinton, she might beat Donald Trump, maybe not. Oftentimes they say she beats right at the edge of the margin of error in the poll. But every head-to-head poll makes it clear that Bernie Sanders is the best candidate to beat Donald Trump. And to Mr. Trump, I would just like to say, you know, there's something more powerful than fear, more powerful than hatred, more powerful than violence. It is unity and love. And to that other campaign that'll be competing at the caucuses on Tuesday, I would like to say, you know, there's something more powerful than super PACs and super delegates and even $2,700 max out donors. And that's 5 million people of every creed, of every color, given $27.16. Now, if you're wondering what democracy looks like, this is what democracy looks like. Now, I honestly hope that between now and next Wednesday morning, next Tuesday night when the caucus is closed, this is the last moment that you're standing still. We know how to win. We've won enough states to know that whenever turnout goes up, we win. And that is your job. From the moment you leave this rally until the caucus is closed on Tuesday, to call every call you can possibly make, to knock on every door you can possibly knock on, to encourage every friend who needs encouragement that caucusing is really not that hard. The corporate media, the other campaign, They're going to want you. And let's be clear, you know, it's funny. I went to opensecrets.org. I said, let me just see who Hillary's biggest competitors are. Hillary's biggest contributors are. The number 6 employer of her biggest contributors, Time Warner. Anyways, so, but they're going to tell you, look, it's done. There's no reason to fight. To them, I would just simply say, welcome to halftime. It's true. Half the earned delegates have been earned. And it's also true that we've done way better than you think is possible. So let's go out there and win this in the second half. God bless you.
We're just hanging out together here, sharing comments in chat and watching the scene, the camera from Fox 13, Salt Lake City. And should be getting started. We saw the motorcade show up with Bernie Sanders and the Secret Service. And then an interesting van with a bunch of other people, look like the press bus. All just waiting for Bernie to show up. Thank you for being here. Yeah, the audio was coming in unbalanced, everybody. We switched it to a mono channel and should sound much better for everybody. But really want a big shout out to Fox 13 Salt Lake City for carrying this for us. Really appreciate it. And later on tonight, we will be having a feed. We've got Bernie Sanders live in Tucson. And that feed is, I believe, coming from Fox 10 Phoenix. We really thank those guys. Oddly enough, the Fox channel seemed to be really generous with showing Bernie Sanders. And thanks. Just gonna leave it at that. It's really nice. So thank you all for being here. How many people watching? And don't worry, I'm keeping an eye as soon as I hear you. Want to see what's going on? They're following the Secret Service people. Who all do we have here? Wow, more than 200 already. Thank you for joining us. What a great conversation. I think it through. Paula, Stevie, Benzolito, friends of Bernie Sanders, Hectic One, Valerie Boyd, Robin Morris in there with a wrench, Chris Curry, Michael Auger, Nikola Tesla, Bill French, Nature Giver, Steph Van Stefut. I'll get it. And 266. Thank you, Steph. 300. Somebody seeing 300? George Clooney's dad was a news anchor at Fox 13. Really? That's cool. I had no idea. You're welcome, Hannah. Thank you for being here. Sekmara. Tucson is like 7:30, Robin Morris. Absolutely. Yeah, something like that. This whole move to the west and the fact that we have the daylight savings and the fact that Arizona doesn't observe daylight saving has completely screwed us all up in Bernie 2016 TV, trying to figure out when these things actually are. And yeah. Oh, thanks. I appreciate you too, Stevie P. Hey, Jake Wimberly. Pab Daub. Cool. Mike Jones. Wow. Evol, Earthen. Billy French. Hi. Yep. You will fix the trolls' cars. Nice. Bernie is the real. Oh, thanks, Celtic Barb. Yeah, it will. And, you know, we've known each other a long time in just social. It's really cool to know you. A lot of you guys. It's really cool. It's a great family we have here on the web. I think that's the amazing thing. The mainstream establishment media and corporations have really poo-pooed the web and its function, but what it has done is brought us together as a species. It's made us realize that we all share one thing in common. We like to be together and communicate and love each other, and it's going to change the world. This is why the TPP, right? This is why they want to lock it down. This is why they want to take away the freedom of web. It's too powerful. It unites humanity. I better start marking the comment stream or I'm going to be in trouble. I like the fact that they've got this music track going on. And so far, it really doesn't affect us. That's lightened up. I don't know what happened. CNN is the Clinton News Network for sure. Oh, Mary, that's nice. You come here to surround yourself with normal, like-minded people. Exactly. Although, it sure feels like we're the outliers some days, doesn't it? There is good music at this rally. What's hard for me to tell is how loud it's actually for you guys out there as opposed to my voice overlay. So I don't know how loud to turn it up on my end. How many people, Charlotte? I saw somebody say 15,000. I have no idea if that's a confirmed number, but that was previous in the chat. And when they panned back, if you scroll back in this live event a little earlier, there's a nice pan shot that Fox 13 does where it's a lot of damn people. There are a lot of people there. Good thing it looks like decent weather. A lot of people there. Is it really loud? The music is really loud? Okay, I'll turn it down. How is it now? It's not loud, it's fine. Ah, thanks, Steph. The artwork, folks. All of the artwork, the majority of the artwork is done by Steph. This is one of his pieces. Steph does beautiful things. This is the one he did for us this morning for the Real Newsroom. If you didn't get a chance to catch it, it's Frack Off Friday. And we had both Margaret Klein Salomon from the Climate Mobilization and Grace Feldman, who is with Santa Barbara County for Bernie Sanders, and also with the Climate Mobilization and the originator of the petition that they created. And we need everybody to sign that petition. If you go to theclimatemobilization.org and look for that petition, it is for Bernie Sanders to have a world. Literally, this is what's amazing, folks. the petition was created a few days before Bernie was on the last town hall, where I think it was Jake Tapper asked him about how soon he would eliminate coal as a fuel source. And Bernie said, as soon as possible. We need a World War II-like attack on climate change. And believe it or not, what the climate mobilization is pushing for and what this petition pushes for is exactly that. That Bernie needs to enact a World War II attack on climate. We are at what we need to survive. We are in a battle to save the planet, and Bernie knows it. He knows we need to address it more directly, and we don't have 10, 20, 30 years of gradual carbon reduction and weaning ourselves off fossil fuel. That's just ridiculous. Any politician or any scientist will tell you that's not even a possibility. Looks like we're starting here.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your patience. As you know, Bernie Sanders is here. We will be starting. We will be starting momentarily. We want to make sure as much of the crowd that is down there can get in to see the show as well. So again, thank you for bearing with us, and feel the burn.
We'll just sit here and listen to some tunes and watch the crowd and talk about things together until we get started with this. I love this. It's like being the host DJ for a rock concert. We're waiting for our rock star. We're waiting for the main act to show up and inspire us all. Because I don't know about you, but I couldn't do this every day if I didn't have a Bernie Sanders to listen to and inspire me and keep me motivated. It's nice. It's nice to actually feel like we have an advocate, like we have a champion who's not full of shit. Yeah, I like the music too, David. It's good stuff. Yeah, turn it up a little bit. Because so far they're not dinging us, so that's good. Just know that if for some reason the stream shuts down quickly, which would be indicated by you seeing a blue swirly kind of screen, I'll start up another one. It should take me a few minutes and we'll just go with that, but you'll have to get to the new event. That happens to us all the time. More than 300 of you, I think. Wow. Thanks for being here. Yep, Pearl Jam. Gloria Glynn, yeah, he's the Starman. Which, believe it or not, Starman dinged us pretty hard the first time I ran that one loud. That's why I killed that one at the end. Whoever owns Starman. Aw, thank you. Thank you. Pabdob. I think we all need to cheer for each other. We're fighting a very large, massive, ugly machine. And it's going to be a long, hard road. It is, Valerie. It is like seeing the Beatles live. I mean, I get that sense. It sounds like it when you listen to the crowd, the sounds of the crowd. You hear. I mean, I'm just gonna say this. Don't take this the wrong way. You literally hear girls screaming and screeching in the same way that they would do for a rock star, and it's awesome. It's awesome. You know, I've never seen this kind of passion, this kind of excitement in the American people around a person. This is far much more powerful than what Obama managed to do. And I was there. I remember Obama. I remember how inspired I was by him. This is so much more real. This is so much more raw. This is right. The cause is right, and the time is now. Nina Turner had that beautiful, beautiful statement. Oh my. The line length is currently 7 miles long, and yet no major media source in sight. This is at the Bernie Sanders event in Utah. I'm Elisa CCTX. Is this something we can verify? I'd love to get a shot. Can we find a link to a Twitter picture, or somebody get me something? Let me look in live production. I suppose I should look in live production. Thank you, Celeste. Everybody, Celeste Holmes, not able to join us in the production environment these days, but is here. Oh, and look, we have Fox 13 about to say something. Do you guys want to listen to Fox 13 say something? Let me know quick.
Now we're on wireless. Check 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello, hello. Yeah.
All right, everybody, I tell you what. We'll, you don't want to see all that stuff. He's getting his shot ready, and they're getting ready to do their intro on it, and they've got time to kill while they're waiting for Bernie Sanders to show up. So this is a good time for him to do a spot. So we'll let him do that, and while he's getting all the stuff ready, and then we'll cut back to it. He kind of reminds me of one of the guys in How to Get Away with Murder, a little bit. The clothes like him, but 7 miles. That's insane. Yeah. 7 freaking miles. Fox guy is probably cursing the Pearl Jam. Yeah, I miss Celeste too. She's dealing with some stuff, and like we all are here fighting the revolution. But she's still helping us in Slack, and she's working on. Actually, she's working on a Code Pink. We're going to work with Code Pink. We got a connection there. We're doing something with a military base that has a lot to do with drones. And I don't really know much more than that. I know they're working on that production, and we'll be bringing that special to you, hopefully soon, putting that together. And that's going to be, I'm looking forward to that, kind of blow the doors open, talk about drones, what's going on there. And we're working with members of Code Pink, is my understanding, but I haven't had a meeting yet to find out. So right now we're just kicking it. Let's see what we got in comments. I keep forgetting to run, and I marked a good spot off here. Where did I mark? You guys are cranking it on the comments. Wow. Right about here. We'll start right about here. That sounds good. Maybe not. Maybe not. Anybody back for comments? Hang on. We'll push up here. I think I missed a bunch. Apologies. It looks like I gotta click back. Just take a look at the pan on that. That looks like Woodstock or something. That's insane. Look at all those people. That's ridiculous. That is absolutely ridiculous. How many people are there? Nanner Aircraft. I may have seen the link that you emailed me, but I get so many email links, and I'm trying to find a way to just look at them all, and I haven't been able to. I appreciate that. I will take a look. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I'm sorry. But I got a lot of links yesterday. A lot of links. Here, I'm going to kick back. He's showing another pan scene. Still hasn't started yet. He hasn't started yet. You guys have been incredible about providing news, dropping us links to things. It's just that we're working on creating a better system so that we have people that can actually grab this news and filter it and put it into different buckets so that we have ways of disseminating the news and bringing it to you. Right now, it's like drinking from a fire hose, and I am totally missing so much. It's just hit me in the face, and I'm capturing what I can and talking about it. And I know that you guys send me messages about why, talk about this and talk about this and talk about this. We need to expand the newsroom. We need to expand to other events and things and bring other journalists in to do pieces in order to cover the amount of news that's just going on. That's not being covered. It's ridiculous. The amount of truth that is being omitted from the pipeline of establishment media. And it's impossible. Like I'm finding it impossible. I mean, I knew it would be. At some point, you just reach a volume max. But I look at the news coming through every day, and I'm like, I don't know if in an 8-hour day, I could deliver all the news succinctly. Maybe if I just started at the beginning of the day and it was 8 hours and we took a brief lunch break and I was able to disseminate all the news of the day, I think it would take a while before we caught up and we were just getting into updates. To get everybody up. I wonder how many days it would take of just news. Day 5,826. This lie you heard back here is really this. And affected this, and this is really what happened, and what you grew up on was full of shit. How long would it take to re-educate everybody in mass? It's what we're working on right now, right? The re-education of the populace, It's really what we're working on. I'm looking at. I'm just reading some comments over here. Oh, thanks. It's not me. I love you guys. No Red Lobster biscuits. No, not. They'd be right here. No, not any right yet. Not right now. Honestly, I'll be honest. I had hoped to have time to go grab something to eat, but I don't know what to eat. And I think the only thing I have is non-frosted strawberry Pop-Tarts. Don't ask me why. That's all I have. I was gonna go grab a packet of that, and we didn't have time. I cut over and I see somebody speaking, and now we're on air, so we're just talking. So what am I gonna do? So now we're here. What I'm going to do right now, though, before I forget, is mark off comments and see if we actually have any questions that are coming through here. And maybe not. If you guys have questions about anything, now's a good time. We're just kicking it. Let me know. We can talk about stuff. I may not know any answers, but we can certainly talk about it. And hang on. All right, there we go. We marked off comments. Let's see. By the way, just so you know, nothing's changed. He's still standing there in front of the camera, waiting for a cue to go live. That is the life of the journalist on location. All right. So what do we got? Venue isn't big enough. I'm just going to read some of the comments marked in blue. And so just so you know, guys, we have things that are marked off for us so I can look at them quick. Yellow means it's a question, and blue means it's something to bring to my attention. So the first thing brought to my attention is, wow, way on down the line here. And it says, where'd it go? Where'd it go? Ah, it disappeared. No, the first thing says best show on YouTube. Well, thank you very much. That's awesome, considering we really don't have a lot going on here. I'm just a old guy who needs to shave, wearing headphones, talking to you about Bernie Sanders. What makes this show is the conversation and Bernie Sanders when we do a rally, really. So thank you for being here. The conversation that we have with you is what makes this badass. Bernie Sanders, the rock star, is why we're here, of course, and to rally around that. But thank you, B-Ban Zolito. Robin Morris. There is a huge crowd in Tucson. I'll put a pic in general form from Imager. Wonderful. Thank you. Huge crowd in Tucson. Do you guys, we have to have a blowout. Arizona, Utah, Idaho have to be just absolute blowouts. We need everybody to show up. We absolutely own the 30 and under demo. There was an article that came out talking about the number of 30 and under voters, and just the Clinton campaign and the Trump campaign combined do not have the numbers that we have there. That's huge. So keep getting out the vote with the youth. We need everybody to get the vote, but I mean that's where we really own it, because we don't have to explain the indoctrination piece as much, right? They didn't grow up with that like me. We didn't grow up with that indoctrination of how the government was supposed to be and all that stuff, right? They're like, internet, Bernie Sanders, makes sense. What's the problem? So let's see. So glad. Thank you, Robin Morris. Looking for that. That's it. A couple things. So what I saw actually was from the previous thing we had going on. We do so many of these events, so many things. I was looking at a different sheet that was from earlier today. That's kind of funny. That's kind of really funny. Let's see if there's anything in live production. This is where I find out that there's an echo. There's a pic in general Slack of Tucson crowd waiting outside these gates. All right, we'll look for that. Oh, somebody started. Here we go, folks. Now you don't have to listen to me anymore.
To introduce the next president of the United States of America, Bernie Sanders!
Yeah, that was good timing. I'll take credit for that. Thank you. Here we go, everybody.
Not forsaken me. Where's the world? I'll set my hands sets my soul free? Where's the spirit that rain over me? Where's the promise from sea to shining sea? Where's the promise from sea to shining sea? Thank you. See, it looks like I was given some bad information. Somebody told me that Utah was a Republican state. Doesn't look like that this afternoon. Thank you all for coming out. What a fantastic crowd. Let me thank Oliver Larkin, Ben Jealous, the former head of the NAACP, Lex Scott. Thank you so much for that introduction, Lex. You know, we began this campaign 10 months ago, and we were 3% in the polls, 70 points behind. We had no money. We had no political organization, and nobody outside of Vermont knew who I was. Other than that, we were in pretty good shape. We have come a long way in 10 months. As of today, we have won 9 states, most by double digits. We have received 849 delegates to the Democratic National Convention. And with your help here in Utah, we're going to get a bunch more on Tuesday. Now, why is our campaign doing as well as it is? And the answer is pretty simple. We're doing something very radical in American politics. We're telling the truth. And as Lex indicated, you know, the truth is not always pleasant. It's not always nice to hear about. But I believe very strongly that this country cannot go forward effectively unless we have the courage to lay the problems right out on the table, not sweep them under the rug. And let me touch on some of those issues. To begin with, today we have a corrupt campaign finance system which is undermining American democracy. Now, democracy is not a complicated process. What democracy means is that you have one vote, you have one vote, you have one vote. You can vote for me, you can vote against me, you got one vote. What democracy does not mean is that billionaires should be able to buy elections. That's not democracy. Democracy does not mean that the Koch brothers and a handful of other billionaires can spend $900 million on this campaign cycle to elect candidates who represent the rich and the powerful. When you have a handful of billionaires spending more money in an election than either the Democratic or Republican parties, that is not democracy, that is oligarchy, and we are not going to allow that. But that is only half the problem. Here's the truth. Truth is that in America we have one of the lowest voter turnout rates of almost any major country on earth. And yet you have Republican governors and legislatures all over this country who are trying to suppress the vote. We should be making it easier for people to participate in the political process, not harder. And I say to those Republican governors, if you don't have the guts to participate in a free and fair election, get out of politics, get another job. If elected president, we are going to move to the day when anybody and everybody 18 years of age or older who is a citizen of this country has the right to vote. End of discussion. But it's not just a corrupt campaign finance system that we have to address. We have to address the reality of a rigged economy. And let me tell you what a rigged economy is about. A rigged economy is about the top 0.1% now owning almost more wealth than the bottom 90%. It is about the 20 wealthiest Americans owning more wealth than the bottom half of America, 150 million people. And this is also what a rigged economy is about. It is about one family, the Walton family of Walmart, owning more wealth than the bottom 40%. But here is what's going on with the Walton family. They pay the workers at Walmart wages that are so low, benefits that are so minimal, that many of their employees have to go on Medicaid, food stamps, and subsidized housing. What a rigged economy is about is that the middle class pays taxes to subsidize Walmart's operations. So I say to the Walton family, the wealthiest family in America, get off of welfare, pay your workers a living wage. What this campaign is about is understanding that while, yes, we are a lot better today economically than we were 7 years ago when President Bush left office. Thank you, President Obama. The truth is that for the last 30 years, the middle class of this country has been disappearing. And that's a truth we have to deal with. Today, in my state of Vermont, and I'm sure here in Utah, you got folks who are working not one job, but 2 jobs and 3 jobs. You have mom out working, you got dad out working, you got the kids out working. In fact, in America, we work the longest hours of any people in the industrialized world. Japanese are very hard workers. We work longer hours than the Japanese. But despite all of that labor, today, 58% of all new income, 58% goes to the top 1%. That's a rigged economy. But it's not just a corrupt campaign finance system and a rigged economy that we have got to deal with. we have got to deal with a broken criminal justice system. Now, again, we don't talk about it too often, but we've got to put it on the table. In America today, we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. Think about it. Think about the fact that China, communist authoritarian country, 4 times our size, we have more people in jail than China. 2.2 million people, spending $80 billion a year to lock up fellow Americans. That is a disgrace. Now, one of the reasons that we have so many people in jail is that youth unemployment in this country is sky high. For white kids between 17 and 20, real youth unemployment is 33%. For Latino kids, 36%. For African American kids, 51%. You want a radical idea? We're going to invest in education and jobs for our young people. Not jails and incarceration. Now, I have been a mayor for 8 years, and I work with police throughout my state and throughout this country. And the truth is, the vast majority of police officers are hardworking, honest, and are doing a very difficult job. But you are tired, and I am tired of seeing videos of unarmed people being shot. And whether it is Abdi Mohammed or anybody else, what we need to do is to make sure that if a police officer, like any other public official, breaks the law, that officer is held accountable. We need to demilitarize local police departments. We need to make police departments look like the diversity of the communities they serve. We need to fundamentally rethink the so-called war on drugs. Over the last 30 years, millions of Americans have received police records because of possession of marijuana. Today, the Federal Controlled Substance Act lists marijuana as a Schedule I drug alongside of heroin. Now, there are scientists who argue the pluses and minuses of marijuana, but nobody thinks marijuana is the equivalent of heroin, which is a killer drug. And that is why I have introduced legislation which will take marijuana out of Federal Controlled Substance Act. States themselves will determine whether or not they want to legalize marijuana. Colorado led that process, but I do not believe that possession of marijuana should be a federal crime. And when we're on the subject of drugs, let us be very clear. And I honestly am not familiar with the situation here in Utah, but I will tell you that in my state of Vermont, neighboring New Hampshire, and many parts of this country, we have a horrific epidemic of heroin addiction and overdose. We have a huge problem with opiate use. In my view, when we talk about substance abuse and addiction, we have got to consider it a health issue, not a criminal issue. We have got to make certain that people who are abusing drugs get the help they need, not just throw them in jail. When we look at what's going on in this country, it is important to understand that today we have Republicans running all over this nation talking about family values. Well, when they are talking about family values, it's important that everybody here understand what they mean. And what they mean is that no woman here today in this state or in this country should have the right to control her own body. I disagree. And what they mean is that our gay brothers and sisters should not have the right to marry. I disagree. Now, this campaign has been moving all over this country, and what we are doing is listening to the American people, not just wealthy campaign contributors. And when we listen to workers, what they tell me is they cannot make it on $8 or $9 or $10 an hour. And they say, and I believe, we have got to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, $15 an hour. In America, if somebody works 40 hours a week, that person should not be living in poverty. And when we talk about equitable wages, all of us have got to be concerned that we end this business of women making 79 cents on the dollar compared to men. And I know that every man here will stand with the women in the fight for pay equity. This campaign is listening to seniors and disabled veterans. What they are telling me is they cannot make it on $11,000, $12,000 a year Social Security, and they are right. Unbelievably, we have most Republicans in Congress who think we should cut Social Security benefits. Well, I've got some bad news for them. We are not going to cut Social Security benefits. We're going to raise them. What this campaign is about, and what I am urging the American people to do, is to think outside of the box, outside of the status quo, outside of the options that the media thinks you have. And let me give you an example of this. Every psychologist who has studied the issue understands that the most important years of human development, intellectual and emotional, are 0 through 4. All right? And stop for a moment and consider how we treat those little kids. today, not only do we have the highest rate of childhood poverty of almost any major country on earth, our child care system is dysfunctional. All over this country, mothers and fathers are going to work, desperately searching for good quality, affordable child care. They can't find it. In this country, we owe it to those parents and, more importantly, to the children to make sure that we have millions of well-trained, well-educated, loving educators who are going to take care of the littlest Americans. We do not have to have a dysfunctional child care system where workers make less than McDonald's employees. We can have the best child care system in the world, and together we'll make that happen. This campaign is listening to the young people of America. And what the young people are saying is, again, thinking outside of the box. Why does it happen that when everybody understands how important education is, that we need the best educated workforce in the world in a competitive global economy, why does it happen that millions of our people are leaving college $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in debt? We should be rewarding people for getting an education, not punishing them. There are people, I've talked to people, young doctors, $300,000 in debt. Dentists, $400,000 in debt. Young man I met, dropped out of college, $60,000 in debt after 2 years. I met a guy 55 years of age. He's been paying off his student loans for 25 years. He's deeper in debt today than when he started. That is crazy stuff. Now, 100 years ago, when very great and courageous people developed public education in America, what they said is that all of the children, regardless of income, should be able to get a free public education, first grade through 12th grade. That was great. I applaud those heroes and heroines. But in the year 2016, the world has changed. The economy has changed. People need more education today. And that is why I believe that when we talk about public education in the year 2016, we're talking about making public colleges and universities tuition free. Is this a radical idea? No, it's not. It really isn't. It's very commonsensical. And second of all, you got countries like Germany, Scandinavia, countries around the world who are already investing in their young people because they want to have a strong economy. Second point, millions of people today are being crushed by very high levels of student debt. In my view, we should give those people the option of refinancing their loans at the lowest interest rates they can find. Now, my opponents and the establishment, they say, well, Bernie, you're a nice guy, you're kind of like Santa Claus, you're giving out free stuff. Free tuition at public colleges, lowest student debt, how are you going to pay for it? Let me tell you how we're going to pay for it. All of you know that 8 years ago, as a result of the recklessness and the greed and the illegal behavior on Wall Street, this country was plunged into the worst economic downturn since the Great Depression. And what did Congress do when Wall Street came running toward them? They bailed them out. Well, I believe that right now we should impose a tax on Wall Street speculation, which would cover the entire cost of making public colleges and universities tuition-free and lowering student debt. Now, it seems to me that when Wall Street was in need, they got help from the American people. Now it is their time to help the American people. Our goal in terms of education is not only to have a world-class child care and pre-K system, a great public school system, but to give every child in this country, regardless of his or her income, the knowledge that if they do well in school, yes, they will be able to get a college education. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the Latino community. Today, we have 11 million undocumented people in this country, many of them living in fear, living in the shadows. I want comprehensive immigration reform and a path toward citizenship. And no matter what our views may be on immigration reform, I hope that every American stands up and opposes this disgusting bigotry that we are seeing against Mexicans, this campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the African American community. And they want to see criminal justice reform. They understand that if we don't change the system, the odds are 1 out of 4 black babies, male babies born today, will end up in jail. That is not acceptable. They understand, and all of us understand, that it is totally insane that we're giving tax breaks to billionaires when communities like Flint, Michigan are disintegrating before our eyes. They understand, and I understand, and you understand, that instead of spending trillions of dollars in a war in Iraq that we never should have gotten in, we should be investing in communities all over this country, creating great schools. And when we talk about Flint, Michigan, and I was there a couple of weeks ago, and I will never, to the end of my life, forget what I heard there, because it was unbelievable that children in America in 2016 were being poisoned. I could not believe that. And while Flint, Michigan may be the tip of the iceberg, may be the worst example of a crumbling infrastructure, don't think that that is the only city suffering from inadequate water systems. Hundreds of communities are, but it's not only water, it's wastewater. It is roads, it is bridges. In my state, we have dozens of bridges that are in desperate need of repair. We have airports. We have a rail system which needs to be significantly improved. If we invest $1 trillion in rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure, we can create 13 million good-paying jobs. Well, Bernie, where are you going to get the money for that one? Well, I'll tell you where. Right now, you have major multinational corporations making billions of dollars a year in profit, stashing their profits in the Cayman Islands and Bermuda and other tax havens, not paying a nickel in federal taxes. So we are going to end that loophole. We're going to end that loophole. It's $100 billion a year. Invest that in rebuilding our infrastructure, create millions of decent paying jobs. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the Native American community. As I go around the country, I've been meeting with tribal leaders. And I don't have to tell anybody here that the way we have treated Native Americans from the first day that settlers came to this continent is an absolute disgrace. They have been lied to, they have been treated, cheated, their treaties have been broken, and today in many parts of this country, the Native American community is experiencing terribly high levels of poverty. Suicide rates of young people are appalling. Drug addiction, alcoholism, inadequate health care. The Native American community has done too much for us. More than any other group of people, they have taught us about the need to respect the environment. The need to live with nature, not against nature. And what a beautiful location here today in your beautiful state to make that point. And that is why, by the way, when we talk about preserving clean water in America, we're going to do everything we can to end fracking. I am a member of the U.S. Senate Committee on the Environment. And I have talked to scientists in this country and all over the world. And what they tell me almost unanimously is that the debate is over. Climate change is real. It is caused by human activity. It is already causing devastating problems in our country and around the world. And what they also tell us, and this is scary stuff, is if we do not get our act together in the very near future, a bad situation will become much worse. By the end of this century, this planet Earth could be 5 to 10 degrees Fahrenheit warmer. Now, some of you may think, well, what's 5 to 10 degrees? It is catastrophic. And what it means, this is not Bernie Sanders talking, this is the scientists. What they are saying, if we don't get our act together, we're going to see more floods, more droughts, more extreme weather disturbances, more rising sea levels, more acidification of the ocean, and we're going to see more international conflict because people all over the world will be fighting for limited natural resources, water and land. In my view, we have a moral responsibility to make sure we leave this planet to future generations in a way that is healthy and habitable. And what that means is we have got to have the guts to take on the greed of the fossil fuel industry and tell them that their short-term profits are not more important than the future of this planet. And let me now connect a few dots. A moment ago, I told you about a corrupt campaign finance system. And if anyone thinks that does not lead directly to the fact that there is no Republican candidate who has run for president in this period who is prepared to agree with the scientists. Not one. Not one Republican candidate. Not one Republican candidate for president, and there were many of them, was prepared to come before the American people and say, you know what? Climate change is real and we're going to have to do something about it. And you know why none of them have done that? Because the day they do that, they're going to lose their campaign funding from the Koch brothers and from the fossil fuel industry. And that is pathetic. So I say to my Republican colleagues, worry more about future generations and less about your campaign contributions. Now we know what we have to do to transform our energy system. It's not hard. We know it, and the technology will only improve in years to come. We need to move aggressively toward energy efficiency. We need to make our transportation system more energy efficient. We need to move aggressively to wind and solar energy and geothermal. And when we do that, when we transform our energy system, not only will we effectively combat climate change, working with China, Russia, India, and countries all over the world, we're going to create millions of good-paying jobs in this country. Now, what this campaign is about, again, is thinking big, not small. I have been accused of thinking too big. Well, I accept that criticism. I do think big. And what I think is that if every other major country on earth, the United Kingdom, France, Germany, Italy, Holland, Canada, every one of them can guarantee health care to all people, so can we. Now, I'm a member of the committee that helped write the Affordable Care Act, and the Affordable Care Act has done a lot of good things. We have ended this obscenity called pre-existing conditions. We have added 17 million people to the ranks of the insured, and we have done away with discrimination against women who are being charged higher prices for health care premiums. But despite the gains of the Affordable Care Act, 29 million people in this country today still have no insurance. Many of you and millions of other Americans do have insurance, but you are underinsured with high deductibles and high copayments. I know there are people here who have deductibles of $5,000, $10,000, all right? And that means if you don't have money in your pocket, you are not going to go to the doctor. If you don't go to the doctor, you're going to get sicker. That is pretty crazy stuff. And then on top of all of that, we have the pharmaceutical industry ripping us off in an unconscionable way. They charge us by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. And here is crazy. This is crazy. Right now, 1 out of 5 Americans who receives a prescription from his or her doctor cannot afford to fill that prescription. That's insane. In other words, you go to the doctor because you're sick. Doctor diagnoses your problem, writes a prescription. You can't afford to fill it. Guess what? You're going to get sicker. You're going to end up in the emergency room. You're going to end up in the hospital. Maybe you die. And then on top of all of that, turns out that we pay far, far more per capita than any other country on earth for health care. We spend 3 times what the British do, and they provide health care to all, 50% more than the French, far more than the Canadians. That is why I believe, number one, that health care is a right of all people, not a privilege. And number two, I believe that this country must move toward a Medicare for all health care program. Now, everybody here knows that our friends in the Republican Party are having some difficulties in their choice for president. And I gather that my good friend Donald Trump was here in Salt Lake City this morning. I'm kidding. He's not my good friend. And let me say this. Donald Trump will not be elected president of the United States. He will not be elected president for a number of reasons. One of the reasons is that according to virtually every national poll, including a recent NBC Wall Street Journal poll, we were 18 points ahead of him. And in fact, in almost every poll, we run much stronger against him than does Secretary Clinton. He will not be elected president because he lies all of the time. And the American people will not elect somebody who lies all of the time. You know, the American people understand that everybody has differences of opinion. But when you find that a organization called PolitiFact, and they check up on what politicians say, they looked at 112 statements made by Donald Trump. They rated 78% of these statements false, mostly false, or pants on fire, disastrously false. Look, I have conservative friends. We disagree on everything. But many of them are honest. They believe what they believe, and we live in a democracy, and we all have differences of opinions. It's called America. But when you have Donald Trump saying that he watched, quote unquote, on TV, thousands and thousands of Muslims cheering in New Jersey when the World Trade Center collapsed. See, what's interesting is he was the only person in America to watch it on TV. Nobody else saw it. Donald Trump has said that the quote, the Mexican government forces drug dealers and criminals into this country. It's a lie. Donald Trump said he didn't know anything about David Duke. Turns out that he did. But the major reason that Donald Trump will not be elected president is the American people will not elect a president who insults Mexicans, who insults Muslims, who insults women, who insults veterans and people like John McCain, who insults the African American community. Some of you may remember a few years ago, before he was running for president, that Trump was one of the leaders of the so-called birther movement. Remember that? Now, the birther movement was not a joke. It was a very savage attack against the legitimacy of the presidency of Barack Obama. So this wasn't an instance where they were saying, well, we disagree with Obama. What they were saying is that the first African-American president in the history of our country should not be president because he was not born in America. That, of course, is a lie. And I find it very interesting that President Obama's father was born in Kenya. My father was born in Poland. Nobody has asked me for my birth certificate. What do you think? Maybe it has something to do with the color of my skin as opposed to Obama's? Donald Trump will not win this election because the American people understand that the strength of America is today and always has been bringing our people together. And that is really an extraordinary achievement of this country, no matter where we came from. My father came from Poland, your father came from Italy or Ireland, or maybe from Africa or Asia, wherever. What the strength of this country has always been about is that we learn from each other. We work together. And that quality of togetherness always trumps divisiveness and trying to divide us up. What this country knows, and the reason why Trump will never be elected, is that working together, helping each other. I want you to help my kids when they have a problem, and they're going to help you and your parents. That's what America is about. We support each other. And that sense of community will always trump selfishness. And perhaps most importantly, what the American people know is what every major religion has always taught us. And that is whether the religion is Christianity or Judaism or Islam or Buddhism or whatever it may be. What those religions have taught us is that love trumps hatred. Now, everybody here knows that real change never comes about from the top on down. It always comes about from the bottom on up. whether it is the history of the trade union movement and workers coming together to fight for dignity on the job, whether it is the history of the civil rights movement, where millions of African Americans and their white allies demanded that this country end racism and segregation and bigotry. Whether it is the history of the women's movement, let us not forget that 100 years ago, not a long time from an historical perspective, 100 years ago, women in America did not have the right to vote, could not go to the schools they wanted to, could not do the jobs they wanted to. But women and their male allies stood together and said, in America, women will not be second-class citizens. And if we were here 10 years ago, no time at all, from an historical perspective, and somebody jumped up and said, you know, I think that in America, gay marriage will be legal in 50 states, the person next to him would have said, what are you smoking? That's crazy. But that happened. And it happened because the gay community and their straight allies took on ferocious bigotry and hatred. And that is how change always occurs. It occurs when people look around them and suddenly realize that the status quo is not acceptable. And in my view, that is the moment that we are in right now. We look around and we see a country in which a handful of people control our economic and political life. Not acceptable. We look at a country where there is more income and wealth inequality than any time here since 1928. Not acceptable. We look at a country in which we are the only major one on earth that doesn't guarantee health care to all of our people or paid family and medical leave. Not acceptable. Not acceptable that millions of young people are struggling with high rates of student debt. Not acceptable that we have a trade policy that has cost us millions of decent paying jobs. So that's not acceptable either. And you're looking at somebody who voted against the Patriot Act. Now, what this campaign comes down to is literally having confidence in ourselves, in knowing that if we don't let the Trumps of the world divide us up, there is nothing that we cannot accomplish. But in order to make that happen, millions of people, many of whom have given up on the political process, some young people who have never yet participated in the political process, are going to have to jump into that process with both feet. And when all over this country, people stand up and they say, enough is enough, that our government belongs to all of us and not just a handful of wealthy campaign contributors, on that day, there is nothing that we cannot bring forth. On Tuesday, there is going to be a very important caucus here in Utah. And let me give you just a simple political truism. We will win that caucus if there's a large voter turnout. We will lose it if there isn't. On Tuesday, please come out to caucus. Bring your friends and your relatives. Let's win. Thank you all very much.
Well, hey there, everybody. That was Bernie Sanders live from Salt Lake City, Utah, where, from what we understand, there were 15,000 people in a 7-mile-long line to see Bernie Sanders. I don't know whether that's 7 miles long in cars or people walking, or I have no idea, but it was huge. I mean, the crowd was huge. You go back to the beginning of this feed that was provided by Fox 13 Salt Lake City, and there were just a massive, looked like Woodstock. It's a massive crowd of people. It was incredible. Utah, if that's the showing we're going to have for Bernie Sanders on the 22nd, that's wonderful. Here, they're cutting out to the scene. You can see the people walking away right there, everybody. There's just an idea of the crowd. Hopefully they'll pan back and you can see just how much. It's just amazing how much is there. What a fantastic conversation we had. Really want to thank the comment monitors and mods. We have the best conversation on the net here at Bernie 2016 TV. Oh, look, and now they've cut to an overpass. That's not very exciting. But we want to thank Fox 13 Salt Lake City for bringing us that feed. We do have another one coming up here. It's we'll be going live at 7:15 p.m. Pacific time, 10:15 p.m. Eastern time. And that is the Bernie Sanders rally in Tucson, Arizona. And that will be delivered by Fox 10 Phoenix. And we'll get that link for you. I want to make sure everybody understands that when we broadcast a feed, what we are doing is transformative in the conversation that we have, adding of the lower third, the conversation we have in the YouTube chat. And we do this to help Bernie Sanders. And, oh, we're not even moving on. Hang on a second. They stopped. There we go. And so we provide the original stream, we provide the original feed because we're not trying to take away from that broadcast. If it can be accessed, you know, if you can watch it on Fox 10 Phoenix, watch it there if you prefer to watch it there. But we want to make sure you can have a conversation about it. And a lot of times the streams that are provided by the local news stations are awesome, but they don't have a conversation going on them. And that's why we bring it to YouTube. We do the overlays. We moderate the conversation because for us, it's about having that discussion together, learning from each other, informing the electorate, and working together as a team. So that's why we do this. And that's why we really thank the local stations for working with us. But this is why we do something different. And one more note, while we have a bunch of people here, and I know we do, there's more than 800 people joining us. So yeah, later tonight we'll have that other event from Tucson, and we'll cut out here with, we'll probably cut out here with the song I did earlier today. Let's do the happy song. You don't need to start yet, though. We're going to end with the happy song, because I didn't run the happy song this morning. I ran a different one. We had Frack Off Fridays, and we ran a really cool new tune by Pundit. And that was cool. But something about, I want to talk about the various artists and guests and the music and video clips that we use. We are a volunteer organization and we are not monetized. And we ask that all of the video content that we use, that we borrow from places like TYT, RT News, Democracy Now!, anybody that will let us, really. And that kind of comes down to anybody except for national news. right? Plus, and anything that's broadcast prime time nationally, we can't use any of that stuff. They definitely slam us for it. But people that are working like Tim Black came on. We used a lot of Tim Black's material, and he was on our program, and he's gone back to work his program because folks like Tim Black and other individuals that have come on, Miles Dyer came on for a while, but he had to get back to work and do his thing. He was in the UK, and we've had other individuals come here and there. I mean, those of you who have followed our channel for the whole entirety of it know that we've had many YouTube content creators and other artists come in and go as they were able to do work with us. And so I just want to make sure that you remember that all of these individuals they're here a lot of them are trying to earn a living here. And so the least we can do for them is subscribe to their channels, support their channels, watch their shows. And so I urge you all to go look through. There's many content creators out there that we borrow from and we use, and we don't do whatever the appropriate measure is, other than to credit them with links and to really say thank you so much on air in terms of content negotiation. And we appreciate that these folks they can monetize their content with us, and we please monetize your content on our channel. That's what it's there for. We do not monetize any of it. We want you to monetize your content and earn what you can from it. That's all we have to offer, because we are a volunteer network looking to provide the truth. But I just wanted to tell everybody out there, please do what you can to support and thank in social and on YouTube. And if these content creators have pledge sites or donation sites, or however they're funded, if they're funded at all, please help them. Because we're all part of this revolution together, and it takes various pieces and parts and people working together, creating content, broadcasting content, producing other content around that content, which is a lot of what we do. We take other people's news and articles and stories, we synthesize it, and we bring it to you guys so that it can be digested quickly. Here's a whole bunch of information that we've grabbed and packaged, right? But the content creators that made all that, they need to get recognized for that, and we try. But the best way is for you to help us let them know how much we thank them for the effort they put forth. So I just wanted to get that out. All right, I just had to say it. Phone bank, yeah. So the important things. There are some memes going out on the web. They were pushed out earlier. There's a March 22nd. That's the big day. Phone bank, face bank, Canvas if you're in the 3 states, Arizona, Idaho, Utah. We need big, huge, massive showings, folks. We need a tidal wave of people, and it looks like we're going to have that, but we really, really need to blow the doors off these 3 states. We need to let the establishment know that we're not screwing around. So go there, do that, help any way you can. I know people are asking for a phone bankathon. We're going to try to pull that together. There's been some folks that have been volunteering. It's a little bit of a technical thing to put together, so we're trying to get that going. And I don't have the magical Janine, but I do have a new wonderful crew of volunteers that are all available and ready to help. So we will do that. We're just working on it, folks. Later tonight, again, join us for the rally in Tucson, courtesy of Fox 10 Phoenix. Tell Fox 10 Phoenix thank you so much. Tell Fox 13 thank you so much in social. You know how the social contract works, folks. And remember, tomorrow, Newsroom, 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, 7 days a week. We do it 7 days a week because Bernie goes 7 days a week. That guy doesn't seem to stop. The revolution doesn't stop. For weekends, for holidays, the revolution continues on. And so the Newsroom 7 days a week is my attempt to say, the fire doesn't die. It may have to sleep every once in a while, but the revolution carries on every day. So, join us for that. Be fun. I just want to check live production one more time. Nothing else going on. All right, good. Let me frame it up, everybody, and we'll go out with the happy song, because we are on a path to victory. It's a hard road in front of us. It's not easy. Political revolution is not supposed to be easy. There is no game key. There is no secret code to unlock an easy path. This is just hard-assed life. And what happens when your country goes awry and your government becomes something you have to fight in order to survive? We've got a planet to save. We've got a nation to rebuild right. And we've got one guy, Bernie Sanders, who's going to help us do it. And we, the people, we have the power. We are vastly more powerful than the establishment. And we have just realized how amazing we are. So let's do this together, folks. We've got months to go. We're just hitting the primary season where we're going to kick ass and take names. Starts on the 22nd. Do what you can for the revolution every day, however you can. Feel the burn, everybody. Here's the happy song. See you a little later.
This country have seen a tremendous increase in their income, while at the same time the standard of living of working people and poor people has declined. CEOs make more than 500 times of what their workers make. The middle class is shrinking. Poverty is increasing, while at the same time the people on top are doing phenomenally well.
People always tell me, man, you're wasting your time. Can't you see the monolith is immobile? Yes, I tell them kindly, still I've made up my mind. Cause the sky above's as big and limitless as it ever was. Gather round people in the town square. It's the end of the corporate age. There's a new caveat with the salary where this is the end of the corporate age. There's no quick and easy remedy that won't end in more calamity.
This is a fantastic time. From my standpoint, this is the best time that I've ever had.
All the bloviators keep on spreading the meme that there's only so much room at the table, telling us we're lucky to be eating the scraps, but we've got all the facts and we're taking our places back.
Billionaires shouldn't be allowed to hide in the shadows. Make them step out in the open where the American people can see.
Gather round people in the town square. It's the end of the corporate age. There's a new caveat with the salary where this is the end of the corporate age.
We are well on our way to seeing our great country move toward an oligarchic form of government.
There's no quick and easy remedy that won't end in more calamity.
Corporate America, Wall Street, the major campaign donors are so powerful that no president can take them on unless tens of millions of people say, guess what, Washington? You are going to start representing the needs of working families and the middle class, not just the billionaire class. We know what's going on. We are paying attention.
In the town square, end of the corporate age. New caveat, salary where, end of the corporate age. It's the end of the corporate age. The corporate age. It's the end of the corporate age. It's the end of the corporate age.
Huge